Welcome back to another edition of Overtime. I'm your host, Justin Dawkins. This week we'll show you how injured high school athletes get back on track. KASIMU Harris will have a round-table discussion on recruiting, and I'll introduce you to a sport hardly anyone knows about. We've all seen how injuries can derail a promising professional or collegiate career, but the same thing can happen in high school. Training and rehabilitation on the high school level has become extremely sophisticated, as Sarah Carey reports.
Physical injuries can occur countless times within the competitive arena of contact and non-contact sports.
You can look at a person's position that they play and usually predict what type of injury they will end up having. You know, just because of the type of position that they're in. A tennis player is not going to have a thigh contusion. You know, and at the same rate, like I said, a lineman will end up a lot of times with a turf toe or MCL injury, whereas a running back will end up with a shoulder injury or a thigh bruise. So, you know, the position that they play puts them at certain risk. The demographics that we have seen over the last 3 years in our clinics, it's the girls basketball player that are seen to be tearing more ACLs, more so than football players are. And we'd have ACLs in football, in all sports we have ACL injuries.
When an athlete becomes injured, it is a team of people that make recovery possible. Coaches, as well as doctors and rehabilitation centers, focus their time and energy into rebuilding and healing all types of ailments. When surgery is necessary, screws and metal plates may be inserted to strengthen the bone and provide stability for life. The ultimate goal is to make it possible for the injured persons to regain full, uninhibited mobility. Recovery time for just about all injuries is said to be at least 12 months.
Some people like to get the athlete back within 4 months of the surgery. I personally don't think that that's enough time. If you look at an NFL player that has an ACL injury, you'll see that it's really a good year before they're back to their old form.
It is a progression that is situationally specific and unrushed to prohibit any form of re-injury.
From what I've seen over the last few years, that person may be back on the court or the field in 4 months, but they're not the same player. And it's better if you can do more sport-specific rehab and extend that time to where, again, a year is really the optimum recovery time for an ACL injury. And again, I've seen girl basketball players back on the court in 4 months and shooting the ball well, but in terms of their agility and being the same player that they were before they got the injury, no way.
When athletes start rehabilitation, physical therapists begin a regimen of activities that will strengthen torn muscles and teach the injured party the best ways to maneuver without excessive strain.
You want to protect whatever the surgeon had done, whether it be a graft or whatever sutures it might be in, so you kind of being careful with what you do there. And then from there you get to something that's a little more strenuous. And then from there you'll go to full-fledged lifting weights, and then from there you will go to what we call sport-specific.
Athletes attend rehab multiple times a week throughout the course of recovery. Weightlifting and strength training are just some of the techniques used. As the healing process continues, therapists begin more of a sport-specific workout to rebuild strength and power in the injured limb.
If someone is a football player, then we'll work on things that they would do as a football player. If they're a tennis player, we work on things, movements that they would do while they were on the tennis court, and then from there they would be discharged.
After treatment, the muscles are stretched and then set up with ice packs as well as patches that send out small amounts of electric shocks to prevent more soreness and swelling. Oftentimes, the athletes will want to push themselves so they can suit up and play as soon as possible.
A lot of times we'll say, look, you need to get yourself at least 90% of what you were. And if you can do that, you know, the goal is for them not to come back to see you. But if you get into a situation to where maybe they're in the state playoffs and they have to play injured, Again, there is some subjectiveness to it, to where you kind of say, well, is the risk of re-injury worth continuing on? And that's just, a lot of it it's dependent on the situation, how old the kid is it their senior season, and this is the last game that they're ever going to play. All those things kind of come into play, and obviously the parent and the physician have a lot to say about that as well.
A certain drive is important, but it is the responsibility of doctors and coaches to return an athlete to the field only when they are ready.
It's an essential dynamic in almost a good cop, bad cop. I think it's important for the coach to be saying, hurry up and get back out there.
Rehabilitation is necessary and efficient for not only athletes, but everyday people recovering from surgeries and other injuries. For Overtime, I'm Sarah Carey.
Stay with us. Overtime will return after this.
Hi, I'm Archie Manning. When I was a quarterback in the NFL, I had to eat a lot of food to sustain my energy on and off the field. But for many young girls and women, food is their enemy. No, this is not an eating disorder. Food can trigger digestive symptoms of nausea, vomiting, heartburn, and bloating, all because nerves in the digestive tract have been damaged. For many, there's no known cause and no known cure for this disabling digestive disease. Called gastroparesis, the victims are mainly women and diabetics. Not many doctors understand this disorder, and there are few treatments. 5 million men, women, and children have gastroparesis. Chances are someone you know is suffering. It has touched the lives of people I know. Join our team to help fight gastroparesis. To learn more, check out the Gastroparesis and Dysmotilities Association website at digestiveddistress.com.
Are you hungry for more than just a college degree? Do you seek challenge? Do you have the ability and drive to become a leader? You can join other students just like you at the Leaders Training Course. The Leaders Training Course is a 28-day camp that gives you the best leadership development in the world. It takes place at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and is designed for people just like you. Call our toll-free number or stop by Barnard Hall for more information.